Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another lesson in After Effects from me, Scott Halford. Today we're not going to work through the Adobe After Effects Classroom in a Book for CS6. I'm just going to show you a couple of things because in your lesson there is another one that goes through a little bit more step by step. So today what we're going to be doing is, instead of building a book, we're going to do a DVD case. But first I want to show you how to make a cube in After Effects. So let's start by making a new project in After Effects. And let's make a new composition. Command N. And I'm going to make this 1920 by 1080. Full resolution. The duration is 30 seconds long, but that's not important. I'm just going to show you how to do this. So I'll click OK, and I think this is going to be our first exposure to the 3D world in After Effects. So what I need to do is show you, first of all, I want to make a cube out of a solid. I'm going to hit Command Y to make a new solid. So in my new solid dialog box, I'm going to make this a little bit brighter color so I can see it better. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to make this 400 by 400. So that'll be a square solid. So I'll click OK there, and there's my square solid. Alright, now, if you haven't done this, if you're seeing the modes and track mats, then you're going to want to go down and click on Toggle Switches Modes to show your different modes, or your switches. This column underneath the cube shaped here is what will turn on and make this a 3D layer. So if I have this selected right now, I've got this binding box around it, and I've got an anchor point right in the middle. Watch what happens to that anchor point as soon as I click on this box. You now have the same the handles, but you have an X, a Y, and a Z handle to be able to move it sideways for X, up and down for Y, and then if I put my mouse over this Z, this is an arrow that's pointed directly at me. This one's going sideways, this one's going up, and this one's pointing directly at me. Click on that, and it moves it closer and farther away. Okay. If all you're seeing is an object that's getting bigger and smaller, that's because it's moving closer, but it's just a 2D layer. Alright, so now what we got to do is, now that this is 3D, let's look at our different views. Right now we don't have a camera in this scene. We're just looking at it directly from the front. So I'm going to go to this view mode right here and click on two views horizontal, and that'll give me two different views of this flat 2D layer, but it's in 3D space. Currently I'm looking at it directly from the front. In this view right here, I'm looking at it from the top, and I know that because when I click in this box, it activates this box and I can look at it from the top. Now if I look at it from the front, it's going to look the same as this one. If I look at it from the left, I'm just looking at a flat object that's from the left. Now I can go to custom view, which is kind of a sideways view, and now you can see I'm looking at it from a slightly different angle. Now this Z handle, if I move it, will move in a different direction. And over on the right side of my screen you can see it updating. It's getting closer to me and farther away. Okay? So that's how that works. Now I'm going to leave this view here, and I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to duplicate it 5 times because they have 6 sides. So Command D, 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 D. So now I have 6 layers of the exact same solid right over the top of each other. Now, I'm going to do something pretty quick, and then we'll go over it again when we're making the DVD case. If I select this first one, this top one, and hit R, I've now, instead of just one rotation setting, I've got 4 rotation settings, and one is orientation and one is actual rotation. We'll go over what the differences are later on, but I'm going to use the rotations for now. Right now I'm going to take the X and I'm going to rotate this top one 90 degrees. Okay, so that made the Z point down, and now Y is looking at me. Now let's go to the next one and hit R, and under the Y or the X rotation, I'm going to type in -90, which is going to make the Z point up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this one as my front-facing one, but I need the next one to be a rear-facing one, so I can either take the X or the Y rotation. X would rotate it this way, and Y would rotate it this way. So either way, I need to rotate one of those 180 degrees. So now that one's facing back. Alright, now I need to do my sides. So I'm going to do rotation, and under Y, what I did on the X, these faced down and up, and now I want these two to go side and side. So I'm going to do this one at +90 and the last one at -90 in the Y value. Now if I take a look at this, they're all faced in different directions. And, so they're all the same color right now, but they're all facing in different directions. Okay, now one really easy thing to do with these, and I hope I did this right, is if I take my anchor point, and right now the anchor point is in the middle, 0 for all of them. And if I take my Z and move this to 200 also, then they will all move away from each other and turn into a box. And what I've done is I've taken my anchor point, with them all at the same place, I have moved them away from each other so that they turn into a cube. Alright, I'm going to go down here just real quick, right click in this negative area, click New, Light, just so we can kind of take a look at this. And I'm going to put this light up here. Then I'm going to do another new light, and I'm going to make this one a point. I'm going to move this over to this side so we can see the different sides of this. Now if I rotate my camera around, I can see that there are 6 sides to this box. So that's pretty cool. Alright, there are several different ways you can do that, but I find that that's kind of the easiest way for me in After Effects. Alright, so let's go to Canvas, and if you go to the assignment, or today's class, February 3rd, inside there's a dvdcase.zip file. Download that to your computer, and then go to your downloads folder and open up your zip file, and inside there's going to be a DVD case front and DVD case spine. Those are the 2 files that you're going to want to import into After Effects. Since I've got them available in my Finder right now, I'm just going to drag those into After Effects, and there they are. Alright, let's make another new composition. Command N. And let's make this one DVD case. Just name it that. Click OK. Now Let's just drop the DVD case front and the DVD case spine down into the timeline. And those are pretty big. So let's make these 3D right off the bat. So now we've got our custom view here. They're both 3D. And check out what happens. If I look at the back, it's just a reverse image of the same thing. So we're going to have to do something about that in just a minute. All right, so let's get this small enough to manage. I'm going to create a new camera. So I'm going to right-click here, go to New, Camera, and I'm going to use the camera that's 50 millimeters. And then I'm going to click OK. Now let me show you the camera tool. What automatically happened over here is in my right view, in this view, my camera took over the view. See how that says active camera right there? Now if I hit C for camera, I can rotate through several different camera tools. That's the camera rotation tool. This is the position tool. This is the dolly tool. That's another camera tool. And then, yeah, so what I primarily use is this position tool. That moves the camera sideways and up and down. And then this dolly tool moves the camera backward and forward. Okay, you can kind of see that updating over in this view. If I select the camera, you can see it moving around. So now what I'll probably do is leave this view at like a top view or left view or right view. So I'm going to put that at the top view so that all I'm doing is just looking at this DVD case from the top right here. Okay, now what I need to do is create all my sides for this DVD case. So I've got this front. The front, let's take a look at the size of it. It's 1500 by 2000. So it's 1500 pixels wide and 2000 pixels tall. Then if I go to the spine, it's 125 pixels wide and 2000 pixels tall. So they're exactly the same height, but they're different depths. So what I'm going to do is I need to build the front, the side, the top, and the bottom. And unless I'm going to be going around all four sides of it, I'm really only going to need to have a couple. But let's go ahead and turn this into a full rectangular cube or rectangular box shape anyway. All right, I'm gonna back this away a little bit farther so that I can see, and then I'm going to toggle through my camera tools again until it's there. All right, so the front. Let's make a front and a back. The way we want to do that is I can hit Command D, duplicate the front layer, and then all I want to do is turn that around and have it face backward. So I'm going to rotate on that and do the Y rotation and have it turn around till it faces the back, which is 180 degrees. All right, now this DVD spine. We need the DVD spine to face this way, to face the outside from the sides. So I want to make this rotate 90 degrees so that it faces sideways. So I'll just type in 90 there. Now I'm going to use this for this side, but I'm also going to use it for this side. So I'm going to duplicate that layer and then hit R for rotation and make this, instead of plus 90, I want it to be negative 90 so it can face backward. Okay? Now we have the front and the back, and then the right and the left. So from here, what I'm going to do is I can do the anchor points to make my four sides again, but let's do it using position settings. I'm going to rename this layer, because it's facing backward, I'm going to rename this one back. And then I'm going to rename the next one front. And the way I'm highlighting these is I'm hitting the hard return. This one is going to be the right side since it's pointed to the right. And I can tell it's pointed to the right because this Z is off to the right. And this one is going to be left. Now let's do this. Let's get these exactly into the right position using math. The front is 1500 by 2000, like I said. And currently, by default, you brought it in and the anchor point is right in the middle. So the position is right in the middle where those anchor points are. So if I want the right side of this to be exactly on the edge of this layer, then I needed it to move 750 pixels because the full width is 1500. It needs to go 750 pixels this way to touch the very edge of that. So I can go to my P for position, and where it's 960 right now, if I add a plus 750 to that, that will put it right on the edge. That's how you use math. If you are really good at math, and you can just say 960 minus 750 is 210, then you could just type in the answer, and that'll do the same thing. All right, now right now we've made this I shape. We've got the front and the back that are sharing the exact same plane, and we've got the right and the left put on the sides. Right now, let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to rotate the camera around this a little bit so you can see. Okay, right now we've got two flat planes with flat plane on either end. So now what we need to do is we need to get the front and the back to be right on the corners of these so that we can form a rectangular box. So you can just grab the Z handle and pull it this way till it looks like it's close, but you're never going to get it right on until, see if I zoom in on this really close, it's really close, but it's not quite on there. So I'm going to hit undo twice to undo those two moves, and let's use math again. So this time, here's where your algebra can come in handy. Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract, right? So let's do some of that. We have our spine, which is 125 pixels wide, and by default, the face and the front and the back should be right on the middle of the spine, and we need to put it on the edge of the spine. So it's 125 divided by 2. If you're not very good at math, then that could be pretty difficult. So what we can do is we can say for position, under the Z, we need this to go up 125 divided by 2. So we can click on that and we can say plus parenthesis 125 divided by 2 end parenthesis, hit enter, and that'll put it right on the end. Okay, so but now we know that that's 62.5. That's the answer. So on the second one, for the front layer, to bring it forward, we actually, instead of moving it in a positive value, which would send it back up this way or back that way, we need to go a negative value. So we can type in negative 62.5. And that puts it right on the edge there. So let me rotate around here a little bit. That's looking like a nice box, except for the front and the back look the same, and the right and the left look the same, and we also can see right through it. Okay? So we have to do something about all three of those things. Since we're still working on the surfaces here, let's create a top and bottom using a new solid. And we're going to get the dimensions of that new solid by taking the width of the spine, which is 125, that's this width, by the width of the front, which is going to be 1500, that's this width. So let's hit Command Y, make a new solid that's 125 by 1500, and make it white. Click OK. OK. And now we need to make it a 3D layer. So go down to this, go down to your timeline. I'm going to restack that below the camera just to keep it tidy. Click the 3D layer, and that puts it right there. Now what we have to do is turn it sideways and vertically. So we need to turn it on its side, and we need to make it face up or down. Okay. So, and that I'm going to use a combination of my Z rotation, make it 90 degrees, and now I'm going to take my Y rotation. See, this is rotation for you. Now that my Y handle is faced out to the side, my X handle is facing up, right here. Oh no, it's facing down. Sorry, I thought it was facing up. It's facing down. So now I want to have this surface rotate using the Y handle, which would be this one, so that it, I did that wrong. No. Okay, that's the difference between the X and the Y. Okay, rotation will actually do a rotation of the object in a global fashion, and orientation will change the orientation using these handles. I think I'm right. Alright, so let's just turn that one plus 90 degrees, and let's duplicate that, do a rotation on that one, and have it be X minus 90 degrees. There, so now it's facing down. Now if I want to, I could use position or anchor point to spread these two objects apart. See those move apart? Let me hide all these so you can see what's going on. So if I change my anchor point, they'll move in opposite directions because their faces are facing in opposite directions. Now, what's the distance we should be going with this? Well, right now, they're halfway vertically on the face, which is 2,000 pixels wide. So in order to get it right on the edges, we need to have the anchor point push them 1,000 pixels. Okay, so hopefully that'll put those right on the top and bottom. Let's see. All right, we have our completed cube. We can or our box. We can no longer see through it. All right. So now we need to leave the front the way it is. We need to make the right side white, and we need to make the back side white, or we can make it another color if we wanted to. So let's go to our effects and presets and type in the word fill. The fill effect will fill, no matter what it is, it'll fill it with a solid color. Let me bring the camera around to the back here so you can see. By default, it's nice and bright red color. I'm going to go to my fill effect. I'm actually going to go around till I can see this again. And I'm going to eyedropper this color. Now I'm going to go to the right side. Actually, now that I've got that, I'm going to grab my fill effect again, select, go to my fill effect, select it, hit Command C to copy it, and then click on the right spine, hit Command V to paste it, and I have, actually no, that one needs to be white, I think. Okay, so now that we've got that fill effect on the spine, we can click on this color and either select white, or we could eyedropper this white color. Okay, now if I rotate my camera around it, we're good now. Okay, we have this nice cube. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete that camera. Okay, I've messed with it enough. I'm going to create a new camera. And I want to set this one a little wider because this object is so big. I'm going to do a 35 millimeter. And I'm going to use my camera settings again. Now one thing you can do here, Command Option O, or I, sorry, O. Freezing my computer up here. Okay, I made a mistake. I should have saved this. I hope I'm not crashing After Effects right now. Okay, let's save it. Chapter, let's see, DVD case demo After Effects. And I'm going to just save this in my Documents folder under AE Demos. Alright. Command Option O will bring up your orientation, and you can have a point of interest. I'm going to demonstrate this using a point of interest for now, because by default the point of interest is going to be set right in the middle of this scene. So from here, if I zoom out on my top view a whole bunch, if I use my dolly camera tool, the point of interest stays on the DVD case. And if I rotate, it'll rotate the camera around, but keep the camera looking at that. Alright? If your camera already has one of these lines coming off of it, then you don't need to worry about changing the point of interest. So the benefit to this is I can start moving the camera around by hitting Alt-P to add a position keyframe, and then I can go forward a second or something, and I can use these camera move tools to put the camera right here. Possibly. Alright, so I can also move my camera using my different views. So if I grab the X handle on the camera right here, it will move the camera, but it also locks the point of interest to it. So if I move the camera this way, it'll actually move the point of interest. What the camera is now looking at is over here. The point of interest for the camera is like your anchor point. So if you hit Shift and A, that'll bring up the point of interest. Okay, so it's used the same way as the anchor point is. At this point, what I could do is just grab the anchor point or the point of interest and change what it's looking at this way. I hope this makes sense. Okay, so now let's look at what the camera's doing. Okay, doing a nice little dolly move in and then a look off to the side to create some perspective. Okay, is that good? I don't know. Anyway, so one way to tidy this up is, let's pretend now I want to move. I'm like, I don't like where this DVD this DVD case is placed. I don't, you know, I want it to be able to move to a different place. Well, these objects are just six. These are just six surfaces. This one object is 6 different layers making up this one object. So yes, you could say, I want to select all of these and parent them to this layer. Or if you want to do another way of grouping them together, is you could select them all and then hit Command-Shift-C, or in your composition panel, it's pre-compose. And I never go, actually it's not up there, is it? I haven't, okay. If you know where the pre-compose is, then I'm just going to hit Command-Shift-C, and that'll make a pre-compose. And I'm going to call this DVD case. So I'm going to move everything into this new composition. Click OK. And now what it's done is if I double click on this, I now have all my 3D layers placed in here, but they're all together. And then the way I break this back out is if I use this column right here. So far we've used this to redraw an Illustrator file or vector art in order to make it scalable without making it pixelated. Well, another thing this one will do is it will break that 3D and put those 3D layers in their respective spots. Then if you make this a 3D layer, you can see that it has become, in your view, it has become a box again, only it is now all moving as one object. Okay? Alright, so if I rotate this, I can rotate them all as one object. And because I based the position of all of those right around the default position, which is 960 by 540 by 0, the anchor point for this is right smack in the middle of the cube, of the DVD case. So if I want to, I can use my Move Behind tool, which is Y, and I can drag that anchor point down to the bottom. Then, if I did a rotation, it would rotate around that. Boing. But it doesn't affect my camera move. So that turns my DVD case all into one object. Another thing you can do is you can create a null object that's 3D, have them all follow the null object, and then lock all the individual layers and then just move the null object around. But this is basically the same thing. And the nice thing about this is when you select it, you can see the binding box is, the binding box is the full size of the box, the rectangle. Alright, so that's how you make those 3D layers.